Hey there, my name is Anthony Romano, and in this video I'm going to tell you about my experience with prolonged fasting. So there's a lot of hype lately on prolonged fasting, and prolonged fasting refers to anything over around 24 hours of fasting. A lot of people are interested in intermittent fasting, and this would be anything below that, and basically something you could do within a day. A lot of people are interested in intermittent fasting because it will stabilize your blood sugars, and a lot of people get mental benefits, a lot of people get appetite suppressing benefits as a result of doing it. But not a lot of people know that doing intermittent fasting and fasting overall is very similar to the ketogenic diet. The more you do intermittent fasting, I have a video that says if you like intermittent fasting, just start keto already, because the better you get at fasting, the more you're getting your body to like ketosis. The longer you fast, the closer you get to ketosis, and this is why if you were to fast for 2 days, you would be in deeper ketosis than somebody who's actually eating a keto diet, just because you're not consuming any food at all, and that would put your body into a deeper state of ketosis, where it's producing more of its own ketones. Your body is a smart machine, and it doesn't want to use resources inefficiently. So people think that their body's going to go into starvation mode, people think their body's going to burn some protein. Your body's more likely to do that if you're doing a calorie diet where you're eating carbs and you're really reducing your calories. Here's why. The more ketones you have in your blood, the less likely you are to burn your own protein. So if somebody were to fast outright, this is why there's channels on YouTube where people just fast for weeks at a time, because the more ketones you have in your blood as a result of fasting will prevent your body from using protein. So it's like your body's natural mechanism to say, hey, this is preservation mode. We're going to use all the resources that are solely for energy, and we're not going to burn up any muscle. And there's no reason for your body to burn up any muscle because it's of no use to you while you're in a ketogenic state. Your body can use small amounts of carbs as energy, but it's not going to turn protein into large amounts of carbs if you're running on a fat metabolism. So basically, if you're ketogenic, there's no point for your body to start burning up its muscle stores because it can't turn that into fat easily, and especially not as easily as it can do it to carbs. So if you're giving yourself a calorie restriction and you're eating carbs on your diet, it's much more likely that your body's going to try to sacrifice its own protein to make its primary energy source, because its primary energy source is carbs. When your primary energy source is fat, your body's not going to try to pull any fast ones on you because there's really no purpose, there's no reason for it to do it. It's like somebody's not going to try to steal a buck from a bank. They're going to try to come in guns a-blazing, take the big bucks. All right? So prolonged fasting in my experience, right? When it comes to prolonged fasting, I have done several 2-day and almost 3-day fasts. I routinely do day-and-a-half fasts, and lifting wise and strength wise, I have absolutely no problems lifting after doing this. I do lose quite a bit of water weight on this if you don't consume electrolytes, so that is something that's very important. And you'll see a lot of people on YouTube who talk about fasting, water fasting, that you should have electrolytes. But one thing I will say is that electrolytes doesn't just refer to as salt. Salt is very important and it'll keep you hydrated, but you need a good balance of minerals. And this is why there are people who are much more experienced with prolonged fasting than I am, who will tell you basically to have a right ratio of magnesium to potassium to salt, or sodium. And basically, I'm not going to say much more experienced than me because, I'm pretty good. But what I'm saying is, the proper ratio of salt to magnesium to potassium is something that if you're doing 7-day fasts by now, you would already know what that ratio should be, okay? For the most part, you're covering your bases by having some salt and some potassium when you're fasting for longer than like a couple days. A day. And when you're pushing it past a couple days, that's when you should get more precise with your electrolyte makeup, because you shouldn't just be drinking water. I'll tell you that right now. If you're drinking just water on a prolonged fast, that is a one-way ticket to dehydrate yourself, because there's nothing for your body to retain that water with. And in general, electrolytes are going to retain the water for you, especially if you're coming from a keto diet, because that's your primary source of water retention on keto. Big point here is that for me, every time I've done a prolonged fast, it has come from a ketogenic state. Keto state is very important because it will really make your appetite a lot more manageable. There's people on YouTube, and one person who a lot of people know about is Elliot Hulse, and Elliot Hulse is getting into a lot of prolonged fasting. I believe he's also done some keto dieting and talked to other people about keto dieting, but when I first heard about him doing prolonged fasting, I was assuming it was coming from a carb metabolism. And that makes it even ballsier because going on a prolonged fast from a carb metabolism is, requiring some serious willpower, because it's a lot easier to fast when you're not coming from a state where your blood sugar is being spiked regularly. If you're coming from a keto diet, your blood sugar and insulin are way more stable and your food cravings are a lot less volatile. So going into a fasted state is going to be way smoother for you, and you won't really have any cravings that are out of the ordinary for you. So if you're planning on doing a prolonged fast for a weight loss approach and you are not doing a low carb diet, start off with a low carb diet. It's going to be a way better experience for you, and it's going to be better for you to ease into things. This is why for me, I was able to have basically, 2 to 3 day fasts going and really no problems. Food wasn't an issue for me. Last thing I'll say about my experience with prolonged fasting is when it comes to my dependence on food, because I've talked about this in other videos on my keto diet info, is that as I've strengthened my fasting muscle, as people call it, as I've gotten better at fasting, it's almost like I accidentally just fast for like an entire day sometimes. I'll do 1 day fast, 24-hour fast, almost all the time. There's days where I'm just like, oh shit, it's like 23 hours in, like I can either, have some food or just go right to bed again. And, so basically the thing is, as you get better at fasting, it's almost like your body, your cravings will drop, and it's an exponential thing. The farther you get along, the farther you get experience on this with the prolonged fasting, the easier it's going to be. So the more along you get up, the higher your rate of return is going to be. So for you, if you are somebody who's doing more prolonged fasting, don't be surprised if the next day you're eating every single day without any restriction, that you find yourself only eating every 18 hours at minimum. So bottom line, it becomes a lot easier to intermittent fast. And that could lead to accidental prolonged fasting, which is what I've been doing way too many times. So nothing wrong with that though. Very good way to purge your body, autophagy and self-cleansing and all that. But I'm just saying, strategically and timing of your lifestyle, it could be an issue for you. Overall, that's my experience, that's my 2 cents, and hopefully some of those tips were valuable to you in prolonged fasting and ketogenic dieting. Thank you for clicking this video. Ask me a question in the comments. I answer every single person. And also check out the links I have on my page, because I have a Facebook group where I talk about keto dieting, and you can discuss with other people there your experiences and basically share advice and get advice from people like myself and others who are interested in this diet and this lifestyle. Overall, thank you for watching this video. My name is Anthony Romano. Peace.